Welcome to Static Budgets Part 7. This ACLED is a continuation of Static Budgets Part 6. By the end of this ACLED, you should be able to prepare a cash payments schedule. We'll continue to use BBB Company as our example. In addition to the original information we were given, we now also have the direct materials budget to work from. Our objective is to prepare a quarterly cash payment schedule for direct materials for BBB for the year 2029. We'll start with the usual three-line heading, company name, report title, and date. The report title is Cash Payment Schedule or Quarterly Schedule of Cash Payments for Direct Materials. This report is only a part of a cash budget, which is why it's called a schedule. And we'll be reporting only cash payments for direct materials in this schedule. And the date is for the year ending December 31st, 2029. Since we are preparing a quarterly schedule, we need labels for our number columns, one for each quarter and one for the year. We have the official schedule blocked out now, and once again, we're going to add an unofficial section where we can document and calculate because it's a simple, handy way to do it. In the real world, we'd hide this unofficial work area before we pass the worksheet on to our supervisor. And once again, we'll use gray font so that you can see which parts are official and which are unofficial. Our objective is to show how much cash we expect to pay for direct materials in quarter 1 and quarter 2, and so on. So the amounts on the bottom line, total expected cash payments for direct materials, will be the most important values in the report. But we'll have to do some calculating to get these total amounts. Where do we start? What is our source of information? Our direct materials budget. We'll set up a column for quarter of purchase and one for purchase dollars. Then we need some more information about the expected timing of our cash payments. If a business makes any purchases on account, this will cause the timing of cash payments to be different from the timing of the purchases. Our data tells us that we expect to pay 40% of our purchase amounts in the same month as the purchase, and we expect to pay 60% in the month after the month of purchase. So we'll set up a column for 40% and one for 60%. The next step is the hardest. In order to enter the first quarter of purchase, you have to identify the oldest quarter that you'll be paying cash for in quarter 1 of 2029. Start thinking with quarter 1 of 2029. Yes, we expect to pay 40% of quarter 1 2029 direct material purchases in this quarter. So back up a quarter to quarter 4 2028. Do we expect to pay any cash in quarter 1 of 29 for quarter 4 of 28 purchases? Yes, we expect to pay 60% of quarter 4 28 direct material purchases in 2029. So back up another quarter to quarter 3 of 2028. When do we expect to pay for quarter 3 28 purchases? 40% in quarter 3 of 28 and 60% in quarter 4 of 28. So none of the cash for quarter 3 2028 direct material purchases will go out in 2029. The oldest quarter purchases that we'll pay for in 2029 is quarter 4 of 28. So this is our starting point. We'll enter quarter 4 2028 on our first row. Then we'll enter each following quarter below. Next, we enter the direct material purchases dollar amounts for each quarter. We weren't given any information about quarter 4 2028 purchases, so we'll have to leave this row blank. The rest of the purchase dollars come straight from our direct materials purchases budget. Then we do the math. For each row, multiply the purchase dollars by 40% and enter the results. Then for each row, multiply the purchase dollars by 60% and enter the results. Next, for each calculated value, decide when it will be paid in cash. Since our quarter 4 2028 row is blank, We'll start with the $1,200, which is 40% of Q1 2029 purchases. We expect to pay the 40% in the quarter of the purchase, so Q1 of 2029. Q1 of 29 is within our budget period, so we enter the $1,200 in the Q1 column on the same row that it came from. The next value is the $1,800, 60% of Q1 2029 purchases that we'll pay in the following quarter, so in Q2 of 2029. Enter the $1,800 in the Q2 column on the same row that it came from. Pause the ACLET now and see if you can figure out which of the remaining values go where. Did you figure out that the last value, 7,200, which is 60% of Q4 2029 purchases, won't be paid until 2030, so does not get entered in our schedule? Now we can add across each row. Make sure that you pick up only the pieces in our official schedule, not from the unofficial working area. And add down each column. Again, these column totals are the most important numbers in the schedule since they tell us how much cash we expect to pay each quarter and for the year for direct materials. Total cash payments for direct materials in 2029 is expected to be $20,920. This concludes the ACLET Static Budgets Part 7.